What's wrong with you?
It's freezing in here. Do you think you'd mind turning off the air conditioning? It's winter.
Air conditioner? Yeah.
It's been blowing cold the whole time.
I'm like 92 over here on my side.
I'm freezing.
At this stop sign, you better get out and do some jumping jacks. What do you mean you're cold?
I might have to. I don't know.
Let me check your heat.
This is crazy.
Oh my, the vents are freezing over there.
I told you.
Don't forget to get your parts at 1aauto.com. We have hundreds of these. Plus, we have videos to show you how to do it. If you turn your heat on and you have a split system, and I mean not that it says individual dual heating system, it could be an older vehicle or a newer vehicle. You have actuator blend doors, or you used to have vacuum control blend doors. But I want to talk about a simple solution that you need no tools to diagnose and how to do it and then solve the problem. Not everything's electrical and not everything's going to be an actuator problem. If you have heat on one side and cold air on the other, there's actually a couple of manufacturers that had this problem. And as a tech, I had a car come to me and I was like, oh, boom, blend door, because that's where your brain normally goes, right? No, there was an actual technical service bulletin, which is called TSB, on that particular make and model that said the heater core. That's right, we're talking about heater cores. It needed to be flushed. Now, you think about it, right? You think, how the heck can a heater core that looks like a little mini radiator, I got one right here, how can this heater core split this down this way and make this side have hot coolant and this side have lukewarm coolant? That's like physically impossible. Well, I was a believer like that. I couldn't believe how could this decipher which side to know to have the inlet or the outlet, hot or cold. Well, simple as flushing the vehicle. I flushed it, and guess what? Saved the customer some money. I said, please drive it, see how long it goes. They got a full season out of it, but next season, sure. They had hot and cold on one side. I ended up having to replace that heater core, which can be about an 8 to 10 hour job, all depends on the vehicle. You have to take that whole dash out, put every nut and bolt back, because you don't want them to rattle. It will sound really noisy when you go down the road. So I can show you where the heater core is on this particular car. Now you would think, oh, it's always out there. Well, it's not always on the passenger side. I have seen cars in the center and even on the driver's side. We're under the hood of a truck. And I chose it because it is out in the open, so you can clearly see the heater hoses. We have 2 of them. They go right into that firewall, and they have the intake and the outtake. Coolant goes in one and comes back out and circulates through the vehicle. And it acts like a little radiator inside your car. The blower motor is adjacent to it, and it blows the hot air all over you. Makes sense, right? It's attached to a big box, big plastic, what they call a heater box, and that distributes it out every vent, whether you want it high, low, left or right. On some particular vehicles, if you have heat on one side and cold air on the other, you want to go with blend door, blah, 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 but we're going to show you how to check the heater core, like I said, easily. Start the car and run it. Let's run the car if it has an issue. You want to run it for at least 40 minutes, half hour. You want it to get to full temp because you want to be able to test it truly. You don't want an inaccurate test here. We're going to fire it up and go from there. Maybe we'll take a reading before we do that. So I have a laser light that will give you the temp reading of anything when you point the little red dot here. These are the heater hoses, and I got Fahrenheit and Celsius. So we're just going to go without the car running. We're at 71 there and 71 there. It doesn't know the difference from the left or the right. Now we're going to fire it up and let's see what we get. All right, so we're 5 minutes into running. Let's see where we're at. 81 on that side. Let's go to this hose. 78. Not a big difference, but the thermostat is not opened up either. All right, so now we're about 20 minutes into running. Let's see what size this hose. There's a bit of a difference, but at the same time, that thermostat probably is right about ready to open up. Once it does, hopefully we have an even flow on both hoses. You can see the difference. We're gonna make sure we run this for full temp so that we can do an accurate test. This is also a good way of testing which one's the inlet and which one is the outlet. So I can tell, because this side's hotter than this side, that this is the side that is still waiting for the thermostat to open up. And you can do that by comparing. If you have a laser light like this, you can compare it by going right to the thermostat housing. and see that the temperature matches the side of the hose, and you'll know that's the inlet and not the outlet. So here we go, right there, and then there. Wow, what a temperature difference. So this car actually has a problem, but because we haven't been able to drive it, we've been doing repairs on it, we have an issue with this one. So obviously if you don't have one of these, or they're pretty inexpensive, you can get them for probably under 50 bucks. But you can use your hand. You're just not gonna be like, it's hot, and you'd be like, whoa. But you should be able to feel the difference. And there is a cool difference in each one. Now we know that's the way you can test it without this. You can, maybe we can try putting a meat thermometer on that and actually holding it, maybe taping it on and then taping it on that one and seeing if you can get a difference that way. These are all home things we can use to get that. But the bottom line, it will come down to, if they're equal, then it's not a heater core problem. But if it is a heater core problem, then what we want to do is flush it. We can flush it ourselves. I don't recommend flushing the whole car at home because there's a lot of coolant and you've got to dispose of it properly. I would take these heater core hoses off, trace one down into a bucket, catch the coolant, and then run my garden hose, water through, and then reverse the flow. And if I had an issue, and I don't have an issue after I do that, that would tell me that I have a heater core problem. That once I flushed it and I get good temp on both sides, once again, you can get the meat thermometer from your kitchen and put it in the vents and check each vent. That's another way of telling an accurate temperature, because sometimes your hand is just not going to be the proper gauge. So whenever you do flush a system, you want to make sure that you put this on full hot and then put this to just vent. Now you're going to get the actual air right out of that vent so you can test all vent spots, and on hot so you get the max temp. Doesn't matter if you're flushing hot or cold when you have an electrical controller. If you had a manual and it had vacuum or cable going to a heater door for that heater core, meaning on the hose, make sure it is fully on hot. But other than that, you want to test it on full hot anyway so that you get the max results out of each vent.
That's a 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6.
While Len does his jumping jacks to warm up. Hope you're a subscriber. If you're not, please subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell because then it turns on all your notifications so you won't miss any future videos. It's distracting watching him. Go ahead, get the blood going.
7. All right, I think I'm warm now.
No, I don't. It's hot as heck over here. I'm not ready to put my window down.
The GoPro hit the floor over there, so we have to check an angle. Now I gotta go find Len. He went for a run. I can't say it.
Say when. I get that jingling noise. Is it okay with the jingling?